So, hi and welcome to a small lesson going through some important cyber awareness practices. This lesson's purpose is to inform students about the best defenses against cyber attacks. We're going to be looking at 6 assault cyber threats, including ransomware and phishing attempts. So, here they are. These are the main points which we'll be quickly going through. These threats are specifically important for students as this information, which is very basic, is always required to defend yourselves against threats and decrease your vulnerability. So starting off with an introduction, our first point is working from home. This might increase the risk of human error, with distractions, family members around. Yes, so second, the majority of data breaches are caused by human error. This is according to a few surveys from Deloitte and IBM, as it can lead to very significant losses. For example, one person that lacks very good knowledge can cause a major breach. And next is cybercriminals frequently rely on people's ignorance or lack of awareness. And so they will use many different ways to gain private data or access to your devices. So having good knowledge of cybersecurity can help you to make decisions when using technology and interacting online. So onto the important attacks, which you're going to need to know for the program, and also the post questions after you've finished. So starting off with phishing. So what is it? Phishing is a type of online scam where criminals will act as someone that you can trust to trick you into revealing sensitive information, such as passwords and credit card numbers. Phishing attacks come in the form of emails, text messages, or websites that look very similar to the actual real source. How do you mitigate against phishing? You always make sure to verify the legitimacy of the sender and also the source before you respond or click on any links, specifically links that are asking you for personal information. Be cautious of emails that demand private information or that seem really urgent, and also make sure to use spam filters, anti-phishing software, and two-factor authentication. So looking at some examples, the first one is an example of scammers sending emails claiming that someone's tried to log into their Instagram account. The email asks to sign into a site that is run by Instagram, but obviously this isn't the case. Scammers include a code at the bottom of the message, which the user would need to type in, kind of like two-factor authentication, and this would then in turn lead them to a spoofed website. And looking at the second example is a hacker trying to gain access to an Apple ID. The email, as you can see, there's some sense of agency saying that if you don't act, your account will be disabled, and if you fail to give in your details to them. By clicking the sign in and review button, you'll be taken to a fake website. Inputting this information on the website will give the hacker access to your accounts. So how do you spot emails such as these? You check the address from which the email was sent. The name may say one thing. However, if you click on it, you'll see that it's not an official Apple email or Instagram email, for example. Look for questionable subject lines like iCloud account limited for security reasons. This may be a red flag, as Apple doesn't send out emails like that. And also check to see if the email is designed poorly. For example, the text within the blue box in the Apple email is not aligned properly, and this is not something that an official Apple email would have. So onto malware. What is malware? Malware is designed to cause harm to your computer or steal sensitive information. It's basically another word used to describe malicious software. So this is viruses, trojans, worms, and spyware. It's often used by hackers to steal data or gain access to your systems. How do you mitigate against malware? It's important to use reputable antivirus software and keep it up to date, as well as keeping your operating system up to date and all software up to date with the latest security patches. Make sure you're backing up important files and data regularly to minimize the impact of a malware attack, and also avoid downloading software from untrusted websites. So on to the third point, and we're about halfway through. So now passwords. What are passwords? Passwords are codes or phrases used to authenticate your identity. Passwords should be unique and kept confidential, but I'm sure you all already know these. So how do you mitigate against password-related threats? You use strong and unique passwords for all your online accounts. Don't just use pet names or birth dates. They should be created with a combination of upper and lower case letters and special characters, and avoid sharing passwords with other people, even if they are trusted friends. And also regularly change your password, especially if it's for banking and stuff like that. So looking at two quick examples of passwords, Looking at the first picture is an example of how secure some passwords are and how small changes can make a big difference. For example, looking at the weak version of the password, I love my piano, in contrast to the strong version where some special characters are entered. So you can see there's an exclamation mark accompanied with the letter 3 replacing the letter E. And there's also divided in 3 capital letters. So L, M, and P are now capital letters. And moving on to the second picture is an example of what two-factor authentication is and how it works. Once the user logs in, a special code is sent to their phone or to their email where they have to enter this code into a website. And this is extremely important to always have enabled, as it just adds in that extra wall of security. So updates, what are updates? Software updates address bugs, security holes, and improve functionality, which means that failing to update software can leave systems very vulnerable. Systems without the latest updates are susceptible to flaws and cyber attacks. So regular software updates are extremely important, and they can prevent and fix vulnerabilities. How do you mitigate against these update-related threats? So this is pretty straightforward, as you just need to make sure that you always update software as soon as it's made available, and whenever possible, make sure to allow automatic updates. Also, one last point to mention for updates is only get them from reputable sources, so don't get them from any untrustworthy random websites. So the fifth point, don't worry, we're almost done, is device security. Device security is the process of taking precautions to protect your electronic devices. So this includes things such as leaving sensitive information exposed on the computer or mobile device, sharing passwords or login credentials, or sending sensitive information through unencrypted services. How do you mitigate against risks that come with device securement? Avoid your device from being easily accessible to other people, especially when you're stepping away from it. Use passcodes or biometric authentication, and make sure that you're always locking your devices when not using them. And also make sure that you're enabling remote wipe capabilities. An example of this would be log into your Apple ID and request to erase all the data from your iPhone if it's been stolen, so that whoever stole it doesn't have access to anything. So here's a few examples of device security methods. Of course, you don't need to follow the first example, don't need to go that far, but looking at the middle picture is an example from Windows where you can easily put your computer to sleep, which is extremely important. And leading on from that, looking at the last picture shows all the different options which Windows allows you to lock and unlock your computer, such as face recognition or something simple as using a 4-digit PIN number. So small things such as these make a massive difference to your device's security. So to finish off is awareness. Proactive awareness is basically being aware of cybersecurity risks and taking precautions to safeguard your device's accounts and sensitive data. You may increase security by using stronger one-of-a-kind passwords, avoiding public Wi-Fi networks. So these are very easy actions to take, and it's an essential component of good cybersecurity hygiene. So some mitigations are avoid sharing passwords or login credentials, which we've been over. Use encryption and secure transmission methods such as a VPN, and make sure you avoid using public Wi-Fi networks. Keep your computer and mobile devices secure and up to date with antivirus software, which we've mentioned, and be mindful of the information you share online and use privacy settings to control who can see your information, especially on social media. So a small summary now. So your accounts can be made secure by using two-factor authentication along with strong passwords. Avoid using information that can be easily guessed, such as birthdays or pet names. Updates. These are crucial to install as soon as possible because they frequently patch bugs and security risks, and also enable automatic updates, as this gives you some peace of mind. Before clicking on any links or questionable emails, make sure that the sender is who they say they are. Use anti-phishing tools like spam filters to lower the chances of an attack, and always secure devices with passcodes or biometric authentication. And also turn on remote wiping when not in use, always remember to lock your device, especially in public. So by implementing these mitigations discussed, we can reduce the risk of falling victim to these attacks. Remember to stay informed and educated about the latest best practices. So thank you. You made it to the end of the presentation. Hopefully you found the information useful. By implementing these mitigations, we can reduce the risk of falling for these attacks. So I appreciate your time and consideration. So here's the passcode for you to enter onto the questionnaire in order to be able to move on to the last step. Thanks again.